cannot believe this, but staying at a resort for 30 days as you kick off your digital nomad journey just might not be the best idea. And let me tell you why. Hey there, this is Lequita Travels. I document how small, intentional career and lifestyle decisions create freedom. So I'm staying at this resort, and I'm just going to show I'm going to kind of show different things as I'm walking. I'm leaving breakfast this morning, and hopefully you can see this area where throughout Thailand, I'm in Phuket, you see all of these like statue type places where for worship. And I think that's one of the cool things about being in a country like Thailand. It's like they're all on one accord. And I mean, I get it. In the United States, it's the land of the free, home of the brave, walk, all the good stuff. And there's a lot of freedom of choice. But sometimes, with freedom of choice, not always the best thing. But anyways, to the point that I was making this morning. I'm at my 30 days where I've pretty much been in Phuket, and I'm in Rawai Beach. And I've been at a resort, which has been like lovely. Like living my best life, wake up, complimentary brunch, housekeeping daily, room service if I want it, just living accessible luxury, right? Which has been perfect. The downside though is that I feel like when it comes to my business endeavors, finishing up my social work career mapping curriculum, doing the editing and content as I'm supposed to be, I haven't been as great at doing those things because it feels more like a holiday. So I think, yes, it was what I needed at this moment. It's been good to kind of, reset, recharge, but it feels like it's been a holiday. And not really like, oh, I'm this actual digital nomad, where I work from anywhere in the world, expat, whatever you want to call it. So now it's like, okay, this is the last day at the resort. I will officially be checking out tomorrow morning, headed to the Phuket International Airport, and then from there I'll be headed to Da Nang, Vietnam for 30 days. I'm on a 4-month adventure in Asia. Like I said, to kick off this lifestyle and just see what all of this is, about. So like I said, 30 days here in Phuket. Next 30 days in Da Nang, Vietnam. And after that, I'm not sure what I'm going to do those next 2 months. So I'm not going to discourage a resort. I'm not going to say that, because in my situation, I did originally book an Airbnb. So this is like the hallway where you walk to go to breakfast. But initially, I did book a 30-day Airbnb, which I would highly, highly, highly discourage anybody from doing that. Highly, highly, highly. Because in my mind, I had it all worked out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to book me a 30-day Airbnb. Because once I get there, I really want to just immerse myself in the culture, get into my routine, order my meal prep, delivery services, foods, to where I could just kind of heat them up. So I had this whole vision on what it was going to look like, be like, feel like. Well, just during this season of reflection, of being here for 30 days, and just how everything transpired, when I first arrived, I would say that's a hard morning. So instead of it being this, oh my gosh, I feel so relaxed and so calm, it really caused a little extra stress, because literally after a 35-hour flight, at which I will say I was coming from Portland. Now the least amount of hours could have been 24 hours, but for me, I'm being mindful of my budget, especially since I'm doing a 4-month stay in Asia, and I'm living off of savings right now until I can generate revenue online to cover my lifestyle for long-term sustainable living. I booked the flight that was 35 hours instead of 24 hours. Now, 24 hours, it might have been like $4,000 versus 35 hours, it was like $533. So like, definitely worth the money. So with me saying that, after flying for 35 hours, literally getting a ride to my Airbnb, and there's ants, these little bitty ants crawling on the counter. Yeah, like what the freak? And when I reached out to the Airbnb person, they just normalized it, like, oh, that's the way it is here. And it's like, wait a minute, yeah, maybe for you that's like really cute, and I love that for you and your family, but for a middle-class American, not wealthy, not poor either, middle-class American that can travel internationally, do a little something, you know, support my kid with some investments, things like that. Bugs in the house is not a norm. I'm not about that life. What the freak? So, needless to say, that came swiftly to an end, because it was just like, no. So just the frustration of getting to a place thinking you're going to be stable and set for 30 days, and then to find out you're not. So then from that, I didn't even stay the night, and it was a non-refundable Airbnb. So that was just an extra layer of stress. So just kind of picturing the whole, just everything that happened. So then it kind of, I guess, paints a different picture of why being at a resort for me did what I needed it to do for now. But also after being here for 30 days, I'm like, I haven't been as productive with my business. I did finish editing the hard copy of the social work career mapping workbook. But I still need to go make the edits on the computer. I need to get it sent to printing. I need to get a copy sent to me internationally, probably when I'm in Da Nang. So it's just stuff that I need to do. So it was, for me, I guess I needed that moment to recharge. Plus, I just did I'm a licensed clinical social worker by profession. So I literally just finished a behavioral health contract at a clinic. For sometimes I was working like 40, 50 hours just because I wanted to, because when you're a contractor doing travel social work, when you don't work, you don't get paid. So since where I was working at was federal, there were a lot of holidays that came up around like November, December, and during those times I wasn't paid. So I would work like longer hours to accommodate for those, you know, those times, which was fine. So for me, I guess, yes, it was what was needed for me in this moment. However, for most people, when you don't have all those additional, sorry, I'm trying not to record people, all those additional dynamics to deal with, maybe it might not be the best fit, you know, and it's a gorgeous resort. Just because you might want to be extremely productive, and being at a resort might not give you that. Now, I will say it might have been slightly different if I was in like a 1-bedroom or maybe a 2-bedroom, and I had a full-size kitchen, even though I'm not cooking, but at least had like a full-size, well, not a full-size kitchen, but a kitchen with a full-size refrigerator at least, maybe a Bunsen burner, maybe a little stove, and maybe a microwave. So I could have still did some normal stuff like order meal prep, like order pre-made foods, and I could just heat them up. So it wasn't constantly out of me eating resort food, or when I felt like it, you know, going out to eat. So that's what I would say. So resort life is really cool, it's cute, it's good for resetting and recharging, which that's what I initially needed. And then after the Airbnb, I didn't even, like, I guess, let me finish the story. After the Airbnb didn't work out, so, and mind you, now I have 2 full-size luggages, a rolling carry-on, and a backpack. I have too much stuff to be trying to keep moving. So I didn't even stay the night at the Airbnb for that first night. I literally was there maybe like 3 hours. And in those 3 hours, I was trying to find somewhere else to stay, and also emailing Airbnb at this point, because we can't normalize ants. Like, I understand that's how you all live and it's cute. That's not how I live. So I end up staying at another resort, which is more like a hotel resort. Where I'm here now, it's spacious. It's a huge resort with tons of trees, paths, the whole 9 yards. The other resort was more of a hotel, but it was called a luxury resort. But still, they had like a lot of amenities, but it wasn't like spacious like this one. So I stayed there, I think, that first night. So I literally arrived, just say around like 7:45, maybe got to the Airbnb by 10. By 12, I had already booked another room, left the Airbnb, checked into that hotel room. But then, I don't know, I was trying to get I was trying to get some real cheap prices, and they was like, no, we're not giving you those cheap prices. Even though technically, when I think about it, it would have been cheaper than where I'm staying at now. But I'm glad I ended up staying at this other place, because that was in Casa Beach. And it was nice. And it was actually a 1-bedroom, and it had the other amenities in it. But then I ended up saying, you know what, I'm not going to stay because they're not going to give me a rate that I wanted for a month. So I ended up booking the place in Rawai Beach. And after staying here for like 2 nights, I was like, this is it. I'm just going to extend my stay for the remainder of the time. So that's why I've been here. So I just want you to just be mindful that resort life is really cute. And it's fun, and I guess you could say it's glamorous in a sense. It's very holiday-ish, and maybe your mindset might be different than mine, and maybe you might be more disciplined. And yes, I'm sweating as all get out. More disciplined than me, so maybe you might be able to stay in a resort and still be as productive. I just know for me, being in a resort, it was more about reset, recharge, and now it's like, okay, now I'm going to Da Nang. And once again, I have another 30-day Airbnb. Fingers crossed. Hopefully everything is going to be great with this one. But I had already did it before I didn't know what I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, hopefully it's going to be fine. So I have a 30-day Airbnb booked in Da Nang, and hopefully everything is going to be great. So that's just something I want you to just, consider and be mindful of as you're venturing out on this digital nomad, expat, work anywhere in the world life. So resort life has its perks, but then it also has its downsides. This is Lequita Travels.